Hello, and welcome to another episode of the Fitness and Freedom podcast. I am your host, Thomas Whitehead. I hope you're having a fantastic day so far. And wow, we've been lucky, blessed to have some incredible weather recently in the UK, which is quite honestly a bit of a rarity for us. So, yeah, it's been nice to chill. Been working in the garden with my laptop, absolutely fantastic. It has been quite hot. Sleeping at night has been a little bit difficult. But anyway, as you might know by now, 2 weeks ago, I had my baby boy. He's officially 2 weeks old today as of filming, which is the 27th of May. So 2 weeks, honestly, where has that time gone? I know everyone said to me recently, the days are short, but the years are long. And I think that's an awesome quote that stuck by me. And I cannot believe, seriously, that it's been 14 days since he's been here, which is mind blowing. Because if you think about pregnancy, like that's 9 to 10 months. So, wow, where did that year go? Basically, in the midst of all of that, I did a photo shoot. I lost 22 kilos of pure body fat to get in the best shape of my life. I literally was going through peak week whilst Cara was in labor. I was there with her, just for full transparency, the whole time. But whilst my son was being born, I was going through the final peak week to get prepped and ready so that I could bring my best possible look to the photo shoot in the gym. So 22 kg is a lot of weight to lose. It's a significant amount to lose. I mean, go to the gym, pick up a 22 kg dumbbell and carry that around with you and tell me how long you last before you get bored out of your mind and it's too heavy. I was carrying that around with me every day when you think about it. So I thought I would make this episode 22 lessons I've learned from losing 22 kg, which took me just under a year to be fully transparent. Not because that's how long it takes to lose 22 kg. You can do it a lot faster, but because life gets in the way. Maybe you have a son or a daughter during that time, right? Just as one example, Christmas came up. I had a hair transplant in the middle of that. New Year's, Easter, all these things that typically get in the way of you and your fitness goals, they also have an impact on me, right? Because I'm also human. So these things came up and they just, hey, made it a little bit difficult to prioritize what I was doing. So nonetheless, I learned a lot along the journey, probably more so than I ever have. And I've done this approach very differently than I normally do. I actually had a much more relaxed, flexible approach, which I think worked really, really well. So that's what this podcast is all about. Before we get into that, if you enjoy these episodes and you get value from them and you think someone else, a friend, a partner, a brother, a sister, or someone you care about would like benefit from hearing this kind of knowledge or mindset or practical tips, feel free to share the podcast, leave me a 5-star review on Spotify. It's really, really helpful. And just, hey, spread the word if you're feeling generous. Of course, you don't have to, but it's free and it helps me out more than you could ever imagine. Now, the first one, we're going to break this into mindset, then some practical stuff, and then 7 lessons. So it'll be 7 of each, which actually equals 21. So we're going to have an extra one in there somewhere. Mindset, physical, and then also lifestyle, right? So the first one is your why has to survive chaos. Losing weight, getting in shape is quite hard. Hence why most people are not in good shape. You just need to look outside and you can count on a hand how many people you would consider in good shape. So your why, and I know this is very cliche, what's your why, what's your desire? Genuinely speaking, like it has to be strong. It can't just be something like, oh yeah, I wouldn't mind losing a bit of weight, or it'd be nice to feel a little bit better about myself. It'd be nice to fit back into my summer clothes. Like you genuinely need to have a strong desire, something that is going to just keep you on track and in the trenches when life gets tough. Something that's going to keep you accountable, right? That might be setting non-negotiables, right? Because if you don't have a strong reason why, honestly, you're probably not going to succeed. I mean, that's the truth. I lost 22 kg. That's a significant amount of weight. If I didn't have a strong why, which for me was, well, one, I want to make sure that I'm an advocate for my business, right? Like I need to make sure that I look the part. If I'm going to talk the talk, you better know that I'm walking the walk, right? For my audience, for my clients, for everyone. 2, Hugo. Knowing that I'm going to be a dad, what kind of dad do I want to be? That was like probably the biggest one out of all 3. And number 3 is like, I just wanted to feel good. I know how good it feels to be in great shape. It's not the first time I've been in good shape, like really good shape. I know how good it feels. It feels incredible. So those were my 3 strong desires. So when time got tough, you know that I'm able to dig deep. Number 2, belief comes from action. Same with motivation. Belief, motivation, whatever you want to call it, comes from action. Now, most people wait to feel ready. They wait for motivation. That's the wrong way around. It goes like this. Action, regardless of how you feel. If you don't feel like working out today, go and work out. If you don't feel like getting your steps in because it's too cold outside, go and get your steps in. If you don't feel like tracking calories because, I don't want to track calories, go and track your calories. No one gives a shit how you feel. I say this to be kind. So you take action no matter what. What happens when you take action? You see a result. You see a tangible thing happen. Maybe a drop in the scale, maybe a little bit more energy, maybe, a notch down on your belt buckle, or your dress is feeling looser. That feels good. That feels nice. What happens when that feels good and feels nice? What are you going to tend to do more? 2 things. Believe in yourself, because it's like, oh, actually, I can do this. This is working. Maybe I can do it again. And motivation. Suddenly, you're more motivated. You're seeing the progress. Oh, do you know what? Going to the gym today doesn't seem so bad. I've already done really well. I can do a little bit more. If you wait for the right time, the right motivation, the right moment, you will be waiting a hell of a long time. You could be waiting so long that you miss the boat. So just take action. Belief comes from action. Motivation comes from action. Number 3, simple does not mean easy. Losing weight is one of the most basic calculations there is. And this is pretty true across the board. Yes, hormones come into play. Yes, sleep comes into play. But genuinely speaking, if you burn more calories than you consume over a long enough period of time, you will see a result. You will see a progress. Like if you were to strip it back down to like the most basic fundamental thing, however you look at it, it comes down to that. Everyone knows, if I was to say to you, how do you lose weight? You'd probably tell me, I probably need to eat well. I would need to, try and avoid junk food if possible. I'd need to exercise, go out and do some cardio, probably, do some weight training. You know what to do for the most part, right? So why do people not do it? Well, that's because the journey isn't easy. It's simple, but not easy. So you need to be okay with embracing the suck, embracing the hard. Literally being okay with this, saying, all right, this might take me 6 months. And to be honest, it's going to be a hard, long 6 months. But that's okay, because it's worth it. So number 3, simple does not mean easy. And also embrace the suck. Embrace the suck. Like, so it's so true. The older I've got, the more I've realized hard now equals easy later, and easy now equals hard later. And it kind of sucks that everything in life that is worth having has to be hard, but it's so true. It's so true. You need to be comfortable with putting yourself in hard situations. Number 4, and this was very true in my journey, perfection is the enemy. It's a trap. Do not get stuck in the perfectionist mindset. You will be stuck there for a very long time. Perfection is the enemy, but consistency is the king. I'm sure you've heard this many times. Consistency is key. Consistency is key. Never give up. Stay consistent. Honestly, if you just keep showing up for yourself and you don't get caught in the perfectionist mindset, you will succeed. So when the photos are gonna be finalized and edited, which hopefully should be this week, I'm gonna share them online. And when you look at this, you might think, wow, I bet he had to give up everything to achieve that. Six-pack abs, you can see the striations in my muscles, like probably around 10% body fat, not stupidly lean. But you probably think, oh, that must have been a lot of hard work. And it was, but I was not perfect. I was far from it. I was consistent enough to get results. You just need to be consistent enough to get results. I promise you. Just show up every day, imperfectly, consistently. Number 5, and I say this to my clients a lot as well. Setbacks are a test. They're supposed to happen. The challenges, the struggles that you're going through or will go through are literally part of it. And they're a test to see, what are you going to do? Are you going to stumble at that hurdle and think, oh, do you know what? I'm not cut out for this. Oh, this is so hard. I knew I couldn't do this. Or are you going to overcome that hurdle? Are you going to jump over that hurdle? You only have 2 options. You stop. You say, okay, this has got the better of me. Or you go and jump over that hurdle. That's it. The difference between someone who's achieved their goals and someone who hasn't is the person who came up against these setbacks. They didn't look at it as failure. They didn't get emotionally tied down or triggered to the specific circumstance. They just said, all right, cool, bring it on. So any setback that you have, embrace it. It's a challenge. You're supposed to go through it. And if you don't, then you fail. You quit. You're just quitting at that point. I had many. Like I said, I went to Turkey, had a hair transplant. That was a setback. Couldn't train for 3-4 weeks. Boom. Great. Photo shoot out the window. I was supposed to do it in November. No dice. Christmas. Going down to Cornwall to see my family. Bit of a setback, right? Gyms are very limited down there. Cornwall's awesome, but it's so behind. And obviously it's Christmas, tracking calories. Oh, who the fuck's gonna want, who's gonna want to be around me if I'm tracking calories, bringing my own food? New Year, events, social events, all these things, having a baby, these were all setbacks. Also, another thing to mention is I was dieting and getting leaner whilst Cara, my partner, was getting heavier through pregnancy. That in a way brings its own stresses, its own challenges. That in a way is a bit of a setback. You just got to find a way. You find a way or you find an excuse. Number 6. This is going to be especially true if you're a woman. The scale lies to you. Now, what I mean by that is it doesn't tell you the full picture. If you stand on that scale and it tells you a number, that's the number that you weigh for the day. I'm not saying that the scale is going to be 5 pounds out or 5 pounds in. Like whatever the number is, it's the number. Your scales are fine. They're working just how they should be. However, they don't tell you the full picture. There were times during my cut where my weight went up, but my body shape and my progress photos looked even better, even sharper, even more defined. I'm at a point where I can genuinely detach from that number on the scale. I can emotionally let go of whatever that number is. A lot of people, can't do that. And what happens is your body weight is going to change daily. It's going to go up, it's going to go down, it's going to stay the same. You can have a perfect day. You can crush the day, hit your workout, track all your calories, on point with every single macro, drink all your water, you slept like a baby, you got 12,000 steps for the day, and you even did a bit more cardio. Guess what? You step on the scale the next day. What the hell is going on? Why am I a kilo heavier? This sucks. Relax. It's all good. Just because you're a kilo heavier doesn't mean you're a kilo fatter. This is really, really key. You could be holding more water. You could be a little bit more inflamed. Your stress levels could have gone up a little bit from quite a crazy day. That happened to me a lot. I actually came back from Amsterdam. That was another setback. I went to Amsterdam. I came back from Amsterdam 5 kilograms heavier than when I left. 5 kilos. I went for 3 days. And I came back 5 kilos heavier. That's a lot. Like, that's, again, go to a gym, pick up a dumbbell. Like, that's a significant amount of weight. Now, back in the day, had I have done that, I would have probably lost my mind. I'd have probably gone into absolute panic mode. Holy shit, everything is ruined. But I didn't. I stayed calm. I stayed cool. I stayed collective. I know that it's, hey, look, the scale doesn't tell the whole picture. Carried on like nothing happened. Next week, that 5 kg came off. So please do not just focus on the number on the scale. This is really, really important. Number 7, I've spoke about this many times, but don't slash your calories from day one. 22 kg is a lot of weight to lose. I need a long runway to do that. I'm not doing all that from day one. If I was to go from 101 kg at my heaviest, start eating 1800 calories, which is, I got down to about 16 to 1800 calories on the very last week of the prep. Had I have done that from day one, I'm screwed. Absolutely screwed. So please do not make the mistake. And this is where having a coach could be really important, because he or she will help you look at things objectively. Emotions come into play. I want results yesterday. I'm sure you probably want results yesterday. When that happens, the brain can go, maybe we can get results a bit faster. Maybe I should just drop calories. Maybe I should do a bit more cardio. Sure, that's going to be great in the short term, but the long term, when your body's consistently making adaptations, it just means that it's going to put the brakes on very quick. You hit a plateau and the whole thing becomes a lot harder and a lot longer than you need it to. So start high. Start as high as you possibly can. Eat as much food and calories as you possibly can while still making progress. It gives you a large runway to taper down from there. Now, this ties in nicely with number 7. Number 8, every pound you lose gets harder. This is key. Progress slowing down doesn't mean that you're failing or it's not working anymore. It's just a normal part of the process. Now, this can derail people. Also, and this is very important to consider, every pound you lose gets harder. Every pound you lose, you get closer to your goal. And as you get closer to your goal, the goal becomes less valuable by nature. What I mean by that is, let's say in your bank account, you have $0, 0 English pounds, and I give you $100 or pounds. That $100 is very, very valuable to you. It's 100% of your net worth. It's 100 times more than what you had before. Now, let's say you have 100,000 pounds or dollars in your account, and I give you that same $100, pounds. I don't know why I'm using dollars and pounds. I should just stick to one. But anyway, then it becomes less valuable because you've got 100,000 pounds. So 100 pounds isn't that much. It's not that valuable anymore. It's the same with your goals. If you have a goal to lose, so for example, 22 kg, I went from 101 kg down to 79 kg. I could have got to 83, 84, 85, and I did. And it was still a really, really good success. I was in good enough shape. That extra 5, 6 kg was the hardest 5 or 6 kg to lose. And it was also the least valuable because it was like, going from 101 down to 85 is good. Going from 85 down to 80, 79 is 6 kg is not that much. Is the juice worth the squeeze? That's where it requires you to dig deep, sacrifice more, grind harder, embrace the suck more, give up more, train harder, do more steps, it gets very harder. So you will get to a point in your journey where you hit that point, you've done quite well, and you're either going to go to a point where you've never been before, take it to the next level, or you're going to settle and you're going to get comfortable. That's one of the biggest lessons you can learn. Every pound gets harder. It requires more discipline, and your goals become less valuable because you're closer to it. That's why not everyone can really get to their goal and sustain it forever because of that complacency. Number 9, cardio really is just a tool. Cardio is really just a tool. Weights build your body. They change your body shape. That is where your primary focus should be on. And don't go into the gym and just kind of get by and do the bare minimum. Train hard, train intentionally, train like someone who's trying to be the best that they can be, trying to build a body of their dreams. If you only focus on cardio, you are not going to change your body shape. Again, going back to that thing of, I want quicker results. I know cardio burns a ton of calories. Like, should I just do more? Just stick to the plan, stick to what you know, and stick to the goal. That's really important. Now, weights help change your body. Number 10 is one of the most underrated tools that you can use. And this is we're more into like the practical side of things now. Steps are the most underrated weapon you have. Believe it or not, only 5% of the calories you burn comes through physical exercise. Up to 15% of the calories you burn through your total daily energy expenditure comes through something called non-exercise activity thermogenesis, which is a fancy way of saying calories burned through non-related real exercise. So yes, steps is kind of still exercise in a way, but it's not. It's not going to the gym and doing an hour of cardio. If you can walk 10,000 steps or more in a day, you're going to be burning 500 to 700 calories extra every single day. It's free, it's easy, it's convenient. Most people completely ignore it. Number 11, sleep is one of your best friends. Treat it like one. Too many people overlook sleep. Had I have not got good sleep and prioritized my sleep through this, there's 0% chance I would have hit my goals. Yeah, big statement, but that's true. Prioritize the sleep. Don't neglect it. It's not an afterthought. Sleep should be something like, boom, I'm in bed by this. You wake up, what time am I going to bed tonight? You look at your phone in the morning, it's 8 a.m. Okay, I want to start winding down by 9 p.m. I want to be in bed by 10 p.m. That should be your thought process. If you control your sleep and you get good quality sleep, fat loss is like riding your bike downhill. If you are neglecting your sleep, fat loss is like riding your bike uphill with square wheels on. Too many people neglect sleep as like, oh yeah, sleep. Yeah. It should be a non-negotiable. Look, the irony is I have a newborn. So it was easy for me to get sleep in before I did this. Had I have gone through the process now, it would have been maybe a little bit more difficult, right? Because having a newborn, he's up every 3 hours for a drink, for a bit of food, nappy change. So there's also that point where like timing is key. Going back to point number 1 with your desire and your why, that's where you're going to have to really foster that energy as much as you possibly can. Sometimes it doesn't always make sense for you to actually diet. That doesn't mean to say that you can give yourself a free pass and an excuse, but you also need to time your goals and your journey of life, I suppose, is a good way. Tying nicely in with number 11, we have number 12, which is stress is silently sabotaging your results. So sleep and stress are two very correlated and interconnected things. You'll find if you're not sleeping well, you probably have higher stress and cortisol. If you're sleeping well, it helps you manage your stress and make smarter and easier decisions. Hunger cues are a little bit more balanced when you're sleeping. When they're not, they're all over the place. Cortisol basically promotes fat storage, especially around the midsection, and it's also catabolic, which means it eats into your muscle. So not only are you finding it more difficult to lose fat, you're also finding it more difficult to build muscle. That is literally a double-edged sword that you want to avoid. So just like not neglecting sleep, also do not neglect stress management techniques. Really, really important. Number 13. This just makes life easy. It makes dieting easy. Lesson number 13 is to focus on single ingredient foods 90% of the time. Banana, chicken breast, potato, broccoli. They only have one ingredient in them. You've probably heard nutrition is 80% of the battle, 20% exercise. That's not quite true. It's a bit more nuanced than that. But you definitely cannot outtrain a bad diet. The easiest way to stay on track, hit calories, hit macros, is to focus on single ingredient foods. That doesn't mean to say you have to be perfect, but just 80, 90% of the time, if you can do that, you'll find it very, very easy to hit your proteins, your carbs, and your fats and stay within your calories. Which brings me to rule number 14 is try and adopt that 90-10 rule. 90% of the time, you focus on single ingredient foods. 10% of the time, you have comfort foods. But this can also be with everything else. It doesn't just have to be with nutrition. Hit 90% of your workouts. Hit your steps 90% of the time. Get your sleep in 90% of the time. That ties in nicely with I can't remember which number it was now, number 4 of consistency is key and perfection is the enemy. So again, this is a nice rule to abide by. Don't chase the perfection. If you actually set yourself up with a guide of I'm going to follow the 90-10 rule, then it's going to be very, very difficult for you not to succeed. And that's sustainable. That's sustainable. That's something that you could probably do for 6 months, 12 months, 2 years. If you can't do 90-10, that's fine. Go to 80-20. Scale it back a little bit. Obviously, the bigger the split, so if you go 60-40, the longer it takes you to get to your goals. So 90-10, 90% of the time you're on it, 10% of the time you're not, get to your goal very, very quick. 80% of the time you're on it, 20% you're not, you still get to your goal quick, but not quite as quick. Then 70-30, 60-40, 50-50, and then it's almost like you're not really getting to your goal at that point. Number 15. Intensity without consistency is worthless. This goes back to our point of consistency being the biggest driver. These things are really boring. They are. And that's the point. One of my favorite sayings is boring brings the bankroll. That's why most people don't succeed, because success is actually really boring. It's doing the same shit day in, day out, over time, monotonously, not getting emotional about it, and just being able to be relentless with your pursuit of success, of becoming the best version of yourself. Without that consistency, the intensity is worthless. So let's, for example, give you that simplified. If you could do 1 week of all out, I'm going to hit everything. Boom, boom, boom. I'm going to train like an animal. I'm going to hit all my steps. I'm going to go for a run, set PBs. And then you do nothing the next week. What you've just done for that previous week is literally worthless. It doesn't mean anything. So you just need to focus on slow and steady wins the race. Slow and steady wins the race. Honestly, I couldn't stress any more than that. Now let's get into a little bit more of the life lessons. This is really key. Number 16, when was the best time to plant a tree? 20 years ago. Why? Because that seed would be a tree by now. That seed would be a tree. When's the second best time to plant a tree? Today. Now. Right this very second. Please do not wait for the right time. The right time was 20 years ago. The second best time is right now. You might think, now, one thing I did say is choose your timings. So if you've had a newborn, it might not make the most sense to start right this very second. However, if you've been thinking about doing something for a while, but there's all these different things coming up, having a newborn is, I would say, quite a significant event. I would also argue that if you're going through a serious illness, maybe you're going on, like, if you plan to travel the world for 6 months, for example, probably doesn't make sense for you to like try and be serious about fat loss. But most people use excuses way too easily. Oh, I can't do it right now because my son's graduating, or oh, it's the summer, so I can't. Nah, it's no point. If you keep waiting for the right time, you just wait until you just die. Essentially, you will just die, and you'll never get to your goal. Number 17, very important. It doesn't matter how long it takes for you to get to your goal. It took me over a year, just under a year. That's a long time. But no one cares. No one said, oh, bloody hell, that took you longer. Like, you should have done that in 6 months. You should have done that in 3 months. No one cares. So as long as you are actually moving in the right direction and you're moving forward day by day, you're getting just 1% better every single day. That's the most important thing. I see too many people become impatient. What happens when you become impatient? You start trying to cut corners. When you start trying to cut corners, you cut results. That is essential. Do not focus on how long it's going to take you. Just focus and make sure that you're moving in the right direction. Biggest key takeaway. Number 18. Do the hard work now. It is hard to get in shape. It's never going to get easier. When I was waking up 7 a.m., the first thing I thought was, oh, I've got to get on the spin bike and do 30 minutes of cardio, high intensity. Didn't necessarily bring me joy. I think that's fair to say. I wasn't like, yippee, jumping out of bed, let's get on the bike, can't wait. Do you know what? I've been waiting. I barely slept last night because all I could think about was how excited I am to get on the bike. No, I wasn't thinking that. But I also knew that if I just do it now, if I just get it done now, I've got an easier tomorrow. And for me, that was worth it. The sacrifice was worth it. It's never going to get easier. There's never going to be a good time to start. Every part of the journey is quite hard. Why wait? Why delay pain? Just get it done now. Number 19, 0.6%. Write that number down. 0.6%. Now, you're probably thinking that's a bit of an arbitrary number. Why are you telling me to write 0.6 down? Let's do some math. Let's say you live to 80, conservatively, by the way, 960 months. Let's also say it's going to take you 6 months of dedicated, hard, focused work to get to your goal, hypothetically. If it takes you a year, it's 1.2%, but it doesn't matter. Let's just say 6 months. And what I mean by that is 6 months of the 90-10. It's not 6 months of training every single day. It's 6 months of consistently showing up for you to be in a much, much better position than you are right now. To love what you see in the mirror, to love how you feel in your clothes, to have an abundance of energy to play with your kids. 6 months out of 960 is 0.6. 0.6%. That's all you have to sacrifice. 0.6% of your life to live a more fulfilling and better 99.4% of the rest of your life. Is the juice worth the squeeze to you? I don't know. I can't answer that question for you. For me, 100% it was. I am willing to sacrifice, heck, I'll sacrifice 5% of my life if it means that the 95% of my life, I love the person I am. I feel confident when I see myself in the mirror and I'm the best version of myself to my partner, to my son, to my family. For me, that is worth it every single day, twice on a Sunday. For you, it might be, it might not be, but it's only 0.6% of your life. So write that number down. Number 20 is the journey is hard, but it's worth it 3 times over. These kind of tie into each other in a way where it's just, look, you're going to need to dig deep. You're going to need to pull something from somewhere at times. Your friends are going out, it's a meal. Oh God, what am I going to do? Might just have to say no this time. You might. Or you might have to go out and not drink alcohol. Okay, that's part of it. It's worth it. That sacrifice is worth it. But too many people are too comfortable. It's 2026. We live in a world where you can literally press a button on your phone and have anything delivered to your door that same day. We don't have to leave the house if we don't want to. We can drive anywhere we want to. Don't even have to drive these days. Cars are just doing the work for us. We're lazy. We're lazy. Like, if you're someone who works out and gets a walk in, you are seen like an anomaly, like an absolute crazy person. Like, how wild is that? That if you're trying to better yourself, you're seen like an absolute nutter. That's just insane. Hey, it's worth it. The journey's going to be lonely. Do it. Do it. It's honestly the best thing you'll ever do. And number 21 is that even coaches need coaches. I did this journey with a coach. I hired a coach. It was the best thing ever. It was the best thing ever. I wouldn't have been able to do what I did to the extent that I did it without a coach. Now, you might be thinking, why do you need a coach? Aren't you literally a full-time coach who helps women get in shape? Yes, I am. But I'm still human. I'm still going to have times where I need a bit of accountability, need a bit of support. My emotions might get in the way. Having a coach to objectively look at things removes all the guesswork, removes all the emotion, and just gives you exactly what you need so that you can just say, boom, this is what I'm doing today. Easy. Don't want to think about my meals. I'm bloody meal plan for 100 clients every single week. Why would I want to think about my own meals? I don't want to think about my own workouts. After this podcast, I've got programming to do. Like, I don't want to have to take that responsibility on because I need to conserve my energy, my headspace to be able to push and be aggressive. People look at coaches like, I had this one guy, for example, and he was about to sign up to join my program. And then he said, do you know what? I've always been like a leader of my own life. I've always done things my own way. So I think I might just give this a miss. Bro, if you're a leader of your life, then be a leader of your life. Go and find the person you need so that you can go to the next level. There's no shame in having help. All the best athletes in the world have coaches. Doesn't it make sense that if you want to get to your goal, you should also have a coach, someone to guide you, someone to just cut the bullshit and help you get to where you want to be? Like, it's insane. I think it's insane for people who don't have coaches. I genuinely do. Like, if you're someone who wants to live a better, healthier life, why are you not investing in yourself to do it? Why are you slugging away trying to figure shit out on your own and getting nowhere? I've had business coaches, fitness coaches, sales coaches, life coaches. I've had football coaches. I've had coach for every single aspect of my life. I've probably invested close to 60 to 70,000 by now in coaching, and the return on investment just financially has been worth it every single time. If you're someone who genuinely just wants to live a better life, invest in yourself, get a coach, do what you need to do to get to the next level. And number 22 is the person you become or need to become is the most important thing. If you could take one thing away from this, I'd probably save the best till last. You only get the results you want by becoming the type of person who can and deserves those type of results. If you want to look amazing in your clothes, start to see your abs maybe for the first time, have an abundance of energy to play with your children, the question you should be asking is not how do I do that or what do I need to do? It's who do I need to become? Who is the word that you're looking for? Once you find that out and you realize that you only get those things once you become that type of person, then the results follow inevitably. That is one of the biggest keys that took me took me too long to learn, if I'm honest. I was always chasing the goal, chasing the outcome, just obsessed with the destination that I forgot about the journey. And you only get to the destination when you become someone who can go through the journey. And not only that, once you get there, that's how you sustain that anyway. If you're constantly cutting corners and shortcuts, sure, you might see a bit of short-term progress, but you're not sustaining that. Maybe you've lost weight before. I'm sure you have. I'm sure this isn't the first time that you've tried to lose weight. If you're not where you want to be, what happened? Why were you not able to sustain it? Well, you probably didn't focus enough on becoming the type of person you needed to become so that you could sustain those results long term. Does that make sense? Like, genuinely, does that make sense? There's the sentence, you only get the body, the results that you want once you become the type of person who can have that. I hope that does. If it doesn't, please feel free to message me. So that's it. 22 lessons from 22 kg, one lesson per kilo. I hope you found value from this. I enjoy doing these episodes. So if you enjoy listening to these and you get value from them, please subscribe to the podcast, follow the podcast, leave a 5-star review if you're feeling super generous. Tell someone about the podcast, share it on your socials, hey, message me on Instagram saying, hey man, I loved your podcast. I listened to this episode. These were my key takeaways. Like, the more people I can help and impact through doing this, the more of these I will do. And hopefully the more lives we can change. So that's it from me. Can't wait to see you on the next one. Thank you so much for listening. Enjoy the rest of your day. Go out there and crush it. Make sure you write these lessons down. But most importantly, implement everything that I've just told you. Peace and see you on the next one.